Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel, and today I'll be reviewing Mystery Walk by Robert McCammon. I've been trying to catch up on McCammon's books this year, with this being my fifth that I've read in 2023, and I've obviously been really enjoying them, otherwise I would have stopped by now. I've been really attracted to McCammon's ability to kind of go toe-to-toe with Stephen King in a lot of respects. Not just with the horror, but in creating well fleshed out, sympathetic protagonists and vile, easy to hate antagonists. Mystery Walk continues that comparison and offers a satisfying reading experience. Mystery Walk is a coming of age story that begins in rural Alabama in the 60s and follows Billy Creekmore from the cradle to young adulthood. At a very young age, Billy discovers that he is different from everyone else because of a special gift passed down through his mother's Native American bloodline. He can see and communicate with ghosts of those who suffered traumatic, sudden deaths. Against the protests of his devoutly Christian father, Billy's mom, Ramona, teaches him that this power allows him to usher those lost souls to the other side and end their misery in limbo. But Billy is not the only young man with a special gift roaming around the southern states. Little Wayne Falconer is the son of a massively influential and beloved evangelist, J.J. Falconer, and he has the power of healing. Wayne has been indoctrinated by his father to continue the family crusade, which takes them all over the South performing tent revivals. It's at one of these revivals that Wayne and Billy cross paths for the first time, leading Wayne to a lifelong hatred against the Creekmore family. I really enjoyed Mystery Walk, and of all the McCammon books that I've read so far, this one was able to elicit some of the strongest emotional reactions out of me. The primary emotion being anger. Not at the book itself, but at the injustices in the book. You see, something that always makes me furious in fiction, like as a plot, is when a group of ignorant, easily manipulated characters collectively agree that one character, usually the main character, is the bad guy. They make their decision based on prejudice and a complete lack of evidence of wrongdoing. They want it to be true, so to them, it's true. Billy Creekmore is a victim of this type of prejudice. His and his mother's powers are well known, and they are hated because of it by the good, God-fearing people of Alabama. This is despite the fact that Ramona has been recruited by members of that same congregation to help them with spirits throughout the years. It's not until the Falconer Crusade comes to town that this prejudice turns violent. Billy is blamed for a tragedy at a high school dance, and his family bears the brunt of the punishment meted out by the townsfolk. It's a scenario that evoked an intense gut reaction of anger and frustration within me, and I liked it. What makes that work even better is the fact that Wayne is celebrated for his own magical powers. He and Billy are the same age and are essentially practicing miracles in the exact same places, and yet, when Wayne does it, he's doing so under the protection of the church, so he's never called a devil. He's never spoken about in hushed, whispered tones. He is beloved. And this is despite the fact that even though Wayne does have an actual healing power, he doesn't actually use it during the tent revivals. The congregation is being conned, but they don't care because they believe it's all part of God's plan. The parallel paths of these boys and the completely different way that the public reacts to them is really fascinating and my personal favorite part of this book. There's a great line that I think really just sums up this distinction. It's spoken by an advisor to Wayne during his teen years. Wayne is at this point obsessed with the Creekmores and has asked his team to look into them. And this is what the advisor says about Ramona, Billy's mother. She's strange, but so what? She's nothing but a faker. If she could really see ghosts and all that junk, then why isn't she out doing seances or stuff like that for rich people? That's a great line because it highlights that Billy and his mom are altruistic, only using their powers when called upon and purely for the sake of helping others. The Falconer people can't fathom that the Creekmores wouldn't try to exploit people or monetize their powers because that's the way that they do things. And yet it's the Creekmores who are shunned and attacked. I also really like that Billy and Wayne are very much products of their upbringing. Wayne grew up with an evangelist father who hammered the Bible into his brain repeatedly and taught him all about sins, but not so much about acceptance. He also thrust Wayne into the spotlight on a pedestal when he found out about his healing gift, which naturally gave Wayne a bit of an ego. Conversely, Billy also has a devout Christian father who would read to him from the Bible, but this was also tempered and offset by a mother who would speak to him more practically. She knew the real world implications of what Billy was going through and was able to offer him realistic advice. Billy had the benefit of multiple viewpoints, which allowed him to choose his own way on his mystery walk through life. It's a great message about how growing up in a bubble can stunt your personal growth. Something I think McCammon and Stephen King have in common is that when they want to write a purely evil character, they can do it really well. But more importantly, when they want to write a complicated character, they do it even better. I think Billy's father, John, is a very complicated character. As described, he is a devout Christian. However, he loves his wife and son, who both have powers that fly in the face of his religious texts. Sometimes trying to reconcile those two facts is too much for John, which leads to a lot of turmoil. He'll rage against his wife because of what she is, but he'll also protect her and Billy from outsiders. John also muddies the water quite a bit because he is a Klan member. Yes, that Klan. How do you make a Klansman sympathetic? Or maybe a better question is, how dare you make a Klansman sympathetic? But shocking as it may sound, McCammon does it pretty well here. Now, I'm not saying you're going to shed a tear for John Creekmore or walk away from this book wishing that he was your own father. Absolutely not. I'm going to go on record right here saying that if you are a real person who is a member of the KKK, you are an awful human being and I do not like you. But as a character in a book, he's got a lot of layers to him that are challenging and interesting to read. And that to me is the great thing about great writing. It challenges you to feel things or think about things in a way that you would never consider before. The characters within Mystery Walk are definitely its strongest aspect, which becomes a problem in the back half of the book when I think the plot takes over, and it's pretty weak. I had a similar criticism for McCammon's book Usher's Passing, which I'll repeat here. I didn't really know what the end game was in this book, and so I never really felt any momentum leading to a climax. I got the sense that there would be some kind of ultimate showdown between Billy and Wayne, but for the majority of the book, Billy isn't even really aware of Wayne like as an antagonist. Like he knows about him, but he has no idea that Wayne is actively working against him. So we have a situation where our protagonist isn't aware of the danger, and so I never really felt the danger either, or just at least where it was all headed. I also have one more thing I want to compliment Mystery Walk for, and I have no idea if it's going to make any sense to you because it's just like a feeling, you know? Like, so I read a lot of books, obviously, and normally when I'm enjoying a book, I read it as quickly as possible because that's just like what you do to a book you enjoy. At least that's what I do. But with Mystery Walk, I kind of read it as slowly as possible because it just like felt better that way. Like this was a really good book to pick up, read a chapter of, savor it, and then put it down for a little while. You know, like this book has big, your mom has been reading it for 3 months and you see it around the house on end tables all the time vibes. You know what I mean? Like This is the most insane thing I've ever said on this channel, but I'm right, and it's true. Despite what I felt was a fairly weak plot, the parallel lives of Billy and Wayne make Mystery Walk a really interesting read, and one that I completely recommend. My arbitrary and subjective grade for Mystery Walk by Robert McCammon is 7.5 out of 10. Do with that what you will. If you've read this book, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments. Thank you for spending some time with me today, but now it's time to get back to reading.